Good morning. I'm coming to you from the bathroom, so you know what that means. It's a beauty day. Yoo-hoo! So yesterday, I posted a picture on Instagram and Facebook, and I asked you guys what your biggest struggles are when it comes to makeup. Things like knowing what's age appropriate, getting out of a makeup rut if you've done your makeup the same way for years and years and years. What new tricks you want to learn, matching up foundation. And anyway, I got this huge response on Instagram and Facebook. You guys have tons of questions. So if you haven't been able to ask your question yet, then please go look up the post on Instagram and Facebook, and you can add your question in there. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down these questions over the course of the next several weeks, possibly months, and I'm going to answer them one at a time, especially if we're seeing some that a lot of you are asking the same types of questions about. So please add those in there. Some of them I'm going to do longer form video. I'll be doing coffee chats for a lot of them, but I'll also do some YouTube videos as well for some of the longer tutorials. But I'm really excited about diving into this. Makeup is something I've gotten really excited about again. It's something that I've shared with you guys a few times. I've gotten into this major rut. Like, I was doing the same makeup in high school, basically, that I was doing even 6 months ago. And I shared the story on the Get Your Pretty On blog about how one night I was flipping through the channels and I saw Betty White on Golden Girls in 1986, I think it was, or 80, it was 89. And she had on the same eye makeup that I was wearing that day. And I thought, okay, it's time to make some changes here. So I started doing my own research and watching lots of videos, and I did a makeup course. I've had some makeup artists that I've worked with and just picked up some little tips and tricks here and there about changing up a few things with my makeup. And, you know, really sometimes that's all it takes. You just have to, you know, try something new. And the most difficult part of this is getting used to seeing yourself that way. So I famously did this blog post about ditching my bottom eyeliner, and I decided in my mind that it didn't look good on me. And then all of you were like, no, Allison, I think you might want to try that. So I decided to give it another try. I gave it a week, and I was surprised that I loved it. And I haven't really gone back to wearing bottom eyeliner. Like, once in a while, if I'm doing a night out look or something like that, and I want to do a smoky eye, then I'll do my waterline or do some kind of bottom eyeliner. But for the most part, for every day, I don't use it, I don't miss it. So just letting you know that sometimes it is difficult to get out of the rut. It's hard to try the new things, but just trust me, you will love it if you just try something new and get out of your comfort zone. So one of the questions that I was asked is about makeup brushes. And makeup brushes can be really confusing because there's like a bazillion makeup brushes on the market. Which ones do you know to use and what goes with what? And it's just so flipping confusing. I wanted to cut through some of the confusion today, tell you the 2 makeup brushes that I use most often, and talk to you a little bit about what I use them for. So if you are just in the market for getting some new brushes, then these are the 2 styles that I highly recommend. You don't have to go with the brand that I'm recommending. They're a little on the pricier end, but they are amazing brushes. And if you've ever seen the reviews on these, you know that what I'm saying is true. If you have these, you also know that. So I'm going to talk about IT Cosmetics makeup brushes today. But again, you can find dupes for these, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on your brushes, and you can still find some decent quality ones, but these are like top notch. They're my favorites I've ever used, and they're amazing. So the first one I'm going to talk to you about is this big fluffy brush, and this is the one that I use most often. This is the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Radiance Wand. The thing that I like about a big fluffy brush is that it gets just the right amount of product. So you're not putting on tons of product. This is a great brush for doing things that are buildable. It's also it's great for loose powder, and it's great for pressed powder. So I use this one in a few different ways. Number one, I use it with my loose powder to put a little bit of powder under my eyes after I do my concealer, so it sets my concealer. The second thing that I use this for is it makes a great bronzer brush. I find that a lot of women aren't sure how to to apply bronzer, and this one puts just the right amount of bronzer on the brush, so you can just kind of dust it along your hairline, right here, on your cheeks, and then I usually just put a little bit on my chin in this area as well. But this brush is great for it because I never overdo bronzer with this brush. Whenever I use some of my, I'm going to show you a brush in a little while that I use for blush. If I used it for bronzer, I would look like a nightmare. So that's another reason why I like a big fluffy brush for that. The next thing I use this brush for is I use it for blush sometimes. Whenever I have a highly pigmented blush that I don't want to look like stripes on my skin, I put a little bit of blush on this and just run it across the tops of my cheekbones like this. So yeah, this is a great all-purpose brush. If you don't have a big fluffy brush, then I would recommend going with this one first. All right, so my second favorite brush that I cannot live without on a daily basis, and there are two schools of thought on this one. Most of you already know not to be applying your foundation with your fingers. It's definitely, it can put bacteria in your skin and make you break out, and it's just not the best way to get in all the little cracks and crevices. So, and the heat from your fingers also affects the way it goes on. So I've used two things in the past. I've used a sponge, like a beauty blender, or even a flat sponge that comes with some of my liquid foundations, but I've really become a fan of foundation brushes. Like, I cannot live without my foundation brush now. And again, these are from IT Cosmetics. I have two different ones here. I have the angled buffing foundation brush, and I've got the, I love that they put the names on them. If only I could read without my glasses. And I've got the skin smoothing complexion brush. So either one of these works great with liquid foundation. It has really dense, soft bristles. You can really just kind of buff the foundation in, get it along your nose and all the little crevices and things. And again, I've been preferring these over my beauty blender lately. They just work great. You have to remember though to clean these every couple weeks because it gets a lot of foundation in those bristles. So you want to clean them with some mild soap and water and let them air dry. And they're super easy to care for. Okay, so the next, those are my two brushes that I use every single day that are indispensable. The next brushes are kind of like nice to haves. So if you're adding into your brush collection and you're not sure what you want to add in next. This is the IT Cosmetics French Boutique Blush Brush. It's angled. This is an Allure Beauty winner, and I can see why. This is a great blush brush. It picks up a little bit more pigment than this big fluffy brush does. So it does put a little bit more blush on at a time, but I like how it's angled because it makes it pretty much foolproof to put your blush on the right part of your cheeks. I have used this for bronzer too. Sometimes when I want a heavier hand with my bronzer, especially in the summer months, if I'm trying to use a little bit more bronzer than I would this time of the year, this brush is also good for that. Next up, if you want to go even deeper into the world of brushes, this little double-ended brush is great for concealer. So it has a small brush on this end. What I usually do is I put some of my Bye Bye Under Eye concealer on my hand, or whatever concealer I'm going to be using. If it squirts out of a tube, I put it in my hand to kind of melt it first, and then I swirl this around and I dot my concealer all over where I'm going to be applying it, like between my eyes, around my nose, a little bit on my chin. And then the other end of this brush is great. It's super dense too and really soft, and it's great for buffing all of that in. So I recommend buffing your concealer in. It's going to make it look so much more natural. And this is a great brush for that. And this one is called the Complexion Perfection. If you're watching on Facebook, I think I called it the buffing concealer brush, but basically you get the idea. So all these brushes are linked up on Facebook if you're interested in any of them. And my last brush that I use on a daily basis is this No Tug dual eyeshadow brush from IT Cosmetics. And it's so soft. I mean, it feels like a mink coat. It's a really soft brush. I like this one, especially, you know, if you're over 40 and you want just a nice smooth eyeshadow effect. I tap this one on like this, And it's great. It puts lots of pigment in there, in those bristles, which you want for eyeshadow. And it also has this other end on it that you can use for eyeliner. I don't really use that much, but if you wanted to do a powder eyeliner, it has a nice narrow brush on the other end for that. So those are my favorite brushes. I would love to hear what yours are. And please share brands with us. If you found a budget-friendly line that you absolutely love, please let us know that. But these brushes get me through the day. They're great for my daily makeup. I don't use all of them every day, but it's nice to have lots of different options with them. And It Cosmetics also makes a brush kit that you might want to look into, which is definitely a little bit more affordable. So, all right, moving on. I have a lot to cover today. The next thing I want to talk to you about is teeth whitening. I've had lots of questions lately about what I do to keep my teeth white. And I am a major coffee drinker and a major tea drinker. So it is important for me to do something that is going to take care of those stains. I constantly am trying to keep up with this. So the most effective things that I've found for teeth whitening are every 6 months, my dentist gives me 2 tubes of whitening gel. So as long as I keep my 6-month appointment, and it's really incentive to do that because she's like, hey, you come in every 6 months, I'm going to give you more gel. Then she'll give me a couple tubes of whitening gel. So I use those. I usually touch up my teeth maybe twice a year whenever I get the gel tubes or whenever I start to see that I'm getting a little more staining than normal. But on a daily basis, I am able to keep my teeth pretty white with the stuff right here. It is Crest 3D White Luxe. And you want to look on the tube and on the box to make sure you're getting the one that says removes up to 95% of surface stains in 3 days. This stuff is awesome. Craig and I both use this and love it. They make a different one that says removes up to 80% of stains, but you want to do this one. This one works even better than that. I use this for my daily brushing. If your teeth are sensitive and you can't handle this on a daily basis, then maybe it's something you do every other day. But this stuff really works and keeps my teeth pretty white between whitenings. I've also had some luck when Aubrey got her braces off. She used the whitening strips that you can buy. I think they were the Target store brand. They're the same as the Crest brand. And she had great results from those. So I think it's just a matter of touching up your teeth with a whitening strip or some whitening gel. Some people do the Zoom laser whitening. I did that years ago, and I wasn't blown away by it by any stretch of the imagination. I felt like I maybe wasted my money on that, but I have had great results with the whitening gel and also with just keeping up with it on a daily basis with this toothpaste. Okay, next topic. I'm going to talk about laser hair removal. I did some Instagram stories this summer about my first time I went to get, I'm getting my underarms done and Aubrey's getting hers done too. A little bit behind the curve on this. I know a lot of you have already had it done, loved it. It's been amazing for you. I will say that I went 12 years ago and got my bikini line done, and that stuff hurt. Oh my gosh. Lasers have come a long way. So if you have not done it in the past 10 to 12 years, like I hadn't, just know that it is not as painful as it used to be. They're using the Cool Touch lasers now, so it's definitely a much better experience. And I have very dense underarm hair, so they've had to do a little bit more with mine than typical, but there's been discomfort. It's not like totally like a walk on the park or anything, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And the results are amazing. Like my underarms, I always wondered how like celebrities would lift their arms. You see them singing or whatever at the Grammys, and they just had these smooth underarms with no shadows at all. Well, now I know what their secret is. They're getting laser hair removal. It's been amazing. Like, okay, so I got to be totally honest with you guys, because you know that's just me. But ever since I've been doing the testosterone pellets, I have got hair everywhere. Like it's unbelievable. I want to get this laser done on my big toe, on my legs, everywhere, like on my chin. I'm starting to sprout hairs everywhere. But the underarm thing has been so good that my underarms are smooth as a baby's bottom. I'm supposed to do my 6th treatment this weekend. So I'm nearing the end of my treatments. I'm barely shaving any at all. It's been so good. So I think I might do my lower legs next and see how that goes. I've heard that that's not as painful because the skin or the hair isn't as dense, so they don't have to do as many zaps on your legs. So I may move on and do that next. But yeah, it's been kind of life-changing not having to shave. I was having to shave my underarms every single day since I've been doing the pellets, and this has been such a welcome relief for that. So highly recommend it. And I got it on a Groupon, which was even better. I think it was, I forget, like 90% off or something crazy like that. So definitely totally worth it, and look for a Groupon in your area, because I have a feeling you'll be able to find somebody that does it. So that's all I got for today. Again, if you have any questions about makeup, please leave those in my Facebook or or on Instagram, and let me know, and I will be happy to answer those. And also, I'm going to have Craig join me tomorrow for the relationship chat. So we are looking forward to that. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye.